Now, for the past 3 weeks, I've been using the ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 10 here for 2022 as my main laptop. Now, this business or enterprise-focused laptop, of course, has a history of being one of the best business laptops out there, especially ultra-portable category. It really fits the bill. Now, I like a lot of the changes that we see from Gen 9 to Gen 10. We now get Intel 12th Gen P-Series processors. We get an option for a 2.8K OLED display. We got that legendary ThinkPad build quality with the mil-spec tested rating on it. It can take a licking and keep on ticking. It also has a really phenomenal keyboard, as we've come to expect in the Carbon line. But it's not the perfect laptop out there, but it does make all the right changes, I think, here for 2022 to make it one of the best out there. We're gonna find out today how this all comes together. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my review of the ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 10 here for 2022. Coming up. Now, before we get to the device, I want to remind everybody I'm not being paid by Lenovo. I'm not being sponsored by Lenovo. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. Lenovo is not getting copy approval. That means they're seeing this video for the first time, just like you. Now, this unit is on loan from Lenovo, and once this review is done, I'll be sending it back. Now, the pricing has remained pretty much the same since the unboxing and first look review. For those that didn't see the video, I'll put the link in the description below. And again, for those that want to purchase this device or just get more information over at Lenovo's website, I'm going to drop a link in the video description below. Now, I've been using this extensively for the past 2.5 weeks since that unboxing and first look video, and I've come to a few conclusions. I'm really liking this 12th gen processor. You're seeing a nice year-over-year increase in performance, especially the multi-core performance. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Now, you're also getting faster RAM, faster storage, an upgraded webcam, a new rear exhaust, an air intake system in the redesigned keyboard, and some robust security features. Now, it all sounds great on paper, but it hasn't been perfect. We're going to talk about the efficiency. We're going to talk about the battery life in just a little bit. All right, I'm going to do something a little bit different here. I'm going to start off with the performance. And of course, this is running that Core i7 1260p. It's a 28-watt CPU from Intel, and it has 12 cores. That's 8 efficiency cores and 4 performance cores. And as you can see from these numbers, these are impressive numbers indeed. We're seeing a nice year-over-year, generation-to-generation increase in performance. In fact, I'm seeing a 27.5% increase in multi-core performance on the Cinebench R23 heavy sustained workload test over the X1 Carbon Gen 9 from last year. And I'm seeing an even bigger increase in the multi-core performance in the Geekbench test, 48% over the X1 Carbon Gen 9. Very impressive. And I saw a healthy 22.5% increase in single-core performance on that same test. And when you compare it to some of its competition, it still didn't do quite as well as the Apple MacBook Pro 13 with the M2 or the MacBook Air with the M2. They did better on the single-core performance. And this is the kind of device that's going to be great for everyday tasks. Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, consuming media, watching Netflix, Amazon, YouTube has been great on this device. And now when it comes to things like video editing or any kind of graphics performance on this, I would say it's okay. Definitely 1080p video editing, even some light K 4K video editing, depending on what it is, can be done on this device. But it's not really meant to be a workhorse in terms of graphics performance. It's a thin and light ultra portable meant to be taken with you on the go. So please keep that in mind. Now, where you're going to run into some issues is going to be with the graphics. Now, this has the integrated Iris Xe graphics. It has 96 executional units. We've seen it before, and to be honest, I think it's getting a little bit long in the tooth. Now, of course, if you lower some of the settings, you can definitely get playable frame rates on some of the titles, but if you want to play the AAA titles on their highest settings and you want to pay this price, then I would go with something with a discrete GPU that is a dedicated gaming laptop. This is not what it's meant to be, but this is really meant for the executive on the go that needs to get work done with the really great keyboard, of course, the really nice display options, and the thin and light nature of this with the extremely durable chassis. This fits that bill. But of course, you could always connect to an external GPU for more graphics horsepower thanks to the two Thunderbolt 4 ports that this has. And when I ran the Prime 95 stress test to see if this will throttle down after heavy sustained load over time, it would reach a core temperature of around 98, 99 degrees Celsius, and then it would throttle down to around 77, 78 degrees Celsius, maintaining cooler temperatures, lowering that clock speed, of course, and you will get less performance, although not too bad. Now, as far as the surface temperatures are concerned, it didn't get overly hot. There weren't too many hot spots, a couple here and there, but remained relatively cool. And the two fans will kick in under heavy load, but were really quiet, never getting above 38, 39 decibels under performance mode. Okay, let's talk about the battery life, and this has a 57 watt-hour battery, as I mentioned previously. Now, I did my initial battery test in that unboxing video, and it didn't do great. Remember, that's my continuous web surfing test over Wi-Fi at 150 nits in the balanced mode, and it did 6 hours and 24 minutes. Not great. So then I reran the test, but with a few changes in the settings. I did lower it to the power efficiency mode. Remember, it was on the balance mode that first time. And I turned off the Bluetooth, and I turned off the backlight, and I lowered the screen brightness from 150 to 100 nits, and it did a little bit better here, 9 hours and 44 minutes. Still not the best I've seen, but much better than that previous test. So you may have to play with the settings, but keep in mind, everybody's use case is a little bit different, so your mileage may vary. But I think at the end of the day, for mixed use, you're looking at anywhere from 6 to 7 hours on this device. Now, they do supply you with that 65 watt USB-C power adapter. It's pretty compact, and it takes about an hour and a half to give you a full charge. That's thanks to the rapid charge that this supports. Now, when it comes to the build quality, this is excellent. It's made out of magnesium and carbon fiber, and it has that military-grade testing that it underwent for extreme conditions to make sure that this is extremely durable. And of course, this will not disappoint. And at 1.12 kilograms or 2.48 pounds, this is extremely portable, easy to take with you on the go. And when it comes to the ports, you won't be disappointed. On the left side, you get two Thunderbolt 4 USB-C ports that are full function. They support data charge and display out. Now, one little nitpick, I would have liked to have one on each side of each other on the opposite sides, but you get them next to each other. That's fine. Next to that is a USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 port, and next to that is an HDMI 2.0B port. Now, on the right side is your 3.5 millimeter headphone microphone combo jack. And next to that would be the SIM tray for the optional 5G. And next to that is another USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 port. And finally, a Kensington lock port to round out the ports on the laptop. Now, notably missing, there's no SD card reader. That would be the one port that I wish it did have, that it doesn't. And of course, it doesn't have a LAN port, but of course, you could always use a dongle for that. And when it comes to user upgradability, once again, Lenovo makes it super easy to get inside. Just loosen the captive Phillips head screws, pop off the bottom plate. In this case, I used my fingers. It wasn't too hard, but you can use a guitar pick or a pry tool to pry it open, but it's pretty easy. Now, unfortunately, the RAM is soldered into the motherboard, that trend we've been seeing with these thin and light ultra portables, and this is no exception here. So as the user, you won't be able to upgrade it yourself, but you can configure this with up to 32 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM, and it is running in dual channel mode. Now, my review unit has 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it all works well so far. But as far as the SSD is concerned, that is user upgradable, and it's the more modern PCIe Gen 4. And as you can see from these speeds, excellent results from this Crystal Disk Mark test. And as far as the wireless is concerned, this has the Wi-Fi 6E with a Bluetooth 5.2 combo card. Now, that combo card is soldered into the motherboard, so it won't be able to be upgraded by you down the road. But having said that, the Wi-Fi 6E has worked excellently, no problems on either front, and the Bluetooth works as advertised. Good job on those fronts. Now, as far as the optional wireless WAN, you can get this with either 5G or 4G LTE, and that's going to be great for the executive on the go that not only needs an always-on connection, but a secure connection at that. And as you can see, there are multiple display options. I already went over them. The key standout here is the new option to go with the 2.8K 2880 by 1800 OLED display, 400 nits, low blue light filter, anti-reflective coating. That I don't have, but that's the one that really stands out to me. Now, it's going to be gorgeous, of course, in terms of the color accuracy, color gamut, everything's going to pop. It's an OLED display. We've seen it before. But the one I have here today is one you're going to get better battery life on, and it's a great display in its own right. It's a 14-inch WUXGA display, 1920 by 1200, a Full HD Plus resolution, has an anti-glare coating. It's a touch screen. It's low-powered. Now, Lenovo says this will get as bright as 400 nits. I got a little bit above that in my measurements, 403 nits, making it a good choice for both indoor and outdoor use. It's bright enough, that's for certain. Now, it has really good black level here, 0.34, good white point, good contrast, good Delta E score. It's color accurate. Anything below 2 is considered color accurate. And it also has good coverage of the color gamut, 100% sRGB, 75% Adobe RGB, 77% of the DCI-P3 wide color gamut, and 70% NTSC. Now, I didn't detect any PWM or pulse width modulation, so that's good. That's screen flickering, so those sensitive to that, you won't have an issue. And as far as the touchscreen is concerned, it was super responsive. Navigating through the OS has been a pleasure. The bottom line is you won't go wrong with this Full HD Plus display. It's a touch display. It really covers all the bases. But of course, if you want even more color accuracy, better coverage of the color gamut, that 2.8K OLED option is the way to go. But that, of course, will take a hit in terms of the battery. Something to keep in mind. So this is the front-facing camera on the brand new ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 10 here for 2022. Now this is a 1080p webcam, an improvement over that 720p webcam that we saw last year. Now, the higher end models have the IR webcam. That means you can log in with Windows Hello. And it also, if you go to the top-notch models, you'll get the computer vision features, which will be a lot of enhancements that come with those higher end models. So that's a great thing to look at. So what do you think about the video quality? What do you think about the audio quality? Let me know in the comment section below. A couple things to note. There is a shutter switch on this that allows you to turn off the webcam for more security and privacy. And there is a fingerprint scanner. It's located by the power button, and that, of course, was easily set up, and that registered my finger each and every time I've used it so far. Looking good so far, but I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comments section below. And I think it goes without saying this Gen 10 camera with its full HD resolution is going to be a lot better than that Gen 9 that we saw in 2021. That was only HD or 720p. Good job in this improved camera here for 2022. And for those wondering, yes, you can open the lid with one finger. Good engineering on those hinges. And of course, let's talk about this new redesigned keyboard. What's new here is the square shape of the keys. That's something a little bit different than years past. And it also has an air intake system this time around. This will allow for better cooling, obviously. So that's going to be a nice improvement here. Typing on it has been great so far. I like the tactility. I like the key travel. It's all worked well. This is a ThinkPad keyboard at the end of the day. Now, the multi-stage backlight does work well. It's a LED backlit keyboard, of course. The keys light up white here, and it's easy to see in a dark room or a dimly lit environment. Good job on that front. And I also love the fact that this is a spill-resistant keyboard. If you spill coffee or water, you have a fighting chance of this surviving. Nice. And when it comes to the trackpad, it worked well. They're the physical mouse buttons we've come to expect with the ThinkPads of years past. And it also had two-finger scrolling that was buttery smooth. All the gestures worked really well. Good job on that trackpad. Now, as far as the TrackPoint, part of the ThinkPad DNA, it's nice to navigate, especially when you're on an airplane, you have limited room. It's a nice way to navigate through the OS. Now, this employs a Dolby Atmos speaker system, two of which are user-facing, and there's a total of 4 speakers for really nice sound out of an ultra-portable, one of the best I've heard, actually really good. Let's give it a listen with Epidemic Sound, and for those that want to save 10% on Epidemic Sound, there's a link in the description below. But let's give this a listen. Okay, let's bring it all home. What do I think about the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 10 here in 2022? And I gotta say, a lot of improvements across the board with a few exceptions. Now, I love this 2.2K OLED display option that you get this year, although the Full HD Plus with the touch display that I have here today will get you better battery life. It's got redesigned keys for better airflow, improved performance with this Core i7 1260p, but you can go up to a Core i7 1280p if you want to. I love the fact that they're going with faster LPDDR5 RAM, but unfortunately that's soldered in. PCIe Gen 4 SSD storage. It's fast, there's no doubt about it. 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports here. That gives you a lot of versatility, of course. Optional 5G Sub-6, Cat 20, or 4G LTE Cat 16 modem. Great for the mobile professional. Full HD 1080p webcam. It is much improved, in my opinion, over the 720p camera. And soldered RAM, of course, is a negative here. No SD card reader, which would have been great. It's a fingerprint magnet. You will be wiping it down quite a bit. And the biggest negative here, I think, this year is going to be the battery life. Not as good as previous generations, that's for sure. And I think it has to do with whether this 12th gen Alder Lake processor have been really optimized here so far. It's early. Hopefully with some firmware updates that will get better over time. We'll see. But Lenovo got a lot of it right here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give this a score of 90%, making the ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 10, earning my editor's choice for the 14-inch business clamshell here in 2022, making it worth your money. So what do you think about this bad boy, the X1 Carbon Gen 10? A lot of great improvements here. Of course, you can see some of the fingerprints on this. Otherwise, really iconic design. I love the look of the ThinkPads, and this is probably my favorite out of them. Really thin and light. It's an ultra portable, optional 5G for the executive or business user on the road. I like that. Optional 2.8K OLED display. That's going to be a nice option for those that are doing any kind of creative work. But of course, this is the Full HD Plus version, touchscreen model. And I think for the most part, this is the one you want to go with, especially if you want a little bit better battery life than what an OLED can give you. And this didn't do great in battery life. I think it's one of the biggest Achilles heel of the 12th gen Alder Lake processors so far here in 2022, especially the P series. But other than that, the performance is a big gain year over year over the Gen 9. So of course, this 12th gen Intel processor kicks the hell out of the 11th gen. There's no question, especially when it comes to both single and multi-core performance. This really shines. Now, as far as the integrated XE graphics, you know, I think it's getting a little bit long in the tooth, as I mentioned. But the good news is there are 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports here, very versatile ports. You connect to docks, Thunderbolt docks, multiple monitors, of course, and an external GPU for more graphics horsepower. So a lot of versatility here. The durability, like I said, is going to be one of its strong suits. It's thin, it's light. I just wish the battery was a little bit better. It's not terrible. Let's get that straight. Just wish it was a little bit more robust in terms of longevity. Now, as far as pricing is concerned, you can actually get this on sale, as Lenovo constantly are running sales. So check the link in the description below for the latest pricing, because you can sometimes get phenomenal deals on these ThinkPads, and they're really rock solid when it comes to doing office work, email, web browsing. These are great. You can even do some light video editing, and of course the occasional game here and there if you lower the setting, as we talked about in the video. But again, I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in that comment section below. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.